Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DAX Machina. Joining me tonight is Danielle-Diva Borozan.
Yes.
Was that correct?
Yes.
Yes. I'm horrible with names. I apologize.
That's okay. You were perfect.
She's going to be talking about her new book and her experiences and things that her experience in the paranormal community. And I think you guys are really going to be excited about this one. It's going to be a fascinating show. So I'm going to turn it over to her to let us give us a little bit of her backstory, and we'll just kind of go from there. So go ahead, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much again for having me. I'm quite excited to be here today because it's actually a second day that I have my book in my own possession that it's published. So the book is The Magic of the Spirit Lake. This book means a lot to me. It's actually a book about the healing and journey through the Aboriginal healing and the miracles. It takes you to adventure in the spiritual healing. If you know anybody that is basically struggling from cancer, MS, or any Alzheimer, Parkinson's, or many other diseases, including some psychological troubles, Magic of the Spirit Lake is basically a place that exists here in Alberta, Canada, and it's called Wakamni, or Lac de Sainte Anne, where actually miracles do happen. My mother was one of those miracles, and that's what drove me actually into this passion to write about this book and to inspire and help others. There's people that did help me and guide me about this book. So I will just mention a couple because I know they're watching. I want to say thank you to brother Michael Thompson from Washington, Presence Vision Design, Christopher Garetano, he's independent movie maker. Then basically Mary Mitchell, he's a author, and also she does a radio programming, independent radio programming. We're going to be starting our own podcast too. So you're going to like that. So
awesome.
Two crazy ladies starting their own podcast too. And I want to also say thank you to my three beautiful sisters. That's Luna, Ivy, and Jackie. Without them, all these people really were behind me pushing this book to happen. But it's about healing and it's about helping others. And anybody who's struggling, this is where miracles do happen.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's really all about. I know there's a lot of people out there struggling with injuries and illnesses. I mean, I've personally been dealing with a severe back injury, so I completely understand. I'm looking forward to picking up a copy of your book and checking it out. So this has been kind of a personal journey for you with your family, but this isn't actually the first time you've been involved in this kind of like healing. I was reading on your website. You've really got a pretty in-depth field about that. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. So basically, I was born as a psychic and a medium, third generation. My great-grandmother was the same way. She was basically a healer and herbalist and alchemist. And she did know many things, how to heal and help and protect people. There's a special chapter about her that talks about her. She actually helped many people, even during the World War II, that saved her and many other people during the time of the Nazis and during the time of occupation of the Europe. So basically, I did use some of my gifts to help others, and I still do. I'm capable of traveling in my dreams, so I do astral traveling. Sometimes I'm being on many different shows, and it's my pleasure to be here with you. But I must say also, what's paranormal for many of you guys, it's normal for me since the day I was born. I see shadow people, spirits, ghosts. I talk to the other side. I see and travel in my dreams. And lately, I've been even helping basically finding the solution of some criminal cases too. So I've been also working with some of the families that were having family members missing. So I work on that too. So I do Reiki healing, crystal healing, tarot, and spiritual counseling. So there's a big spectrum there, but I try my best.
I am familiar with Reiki, but I don't know if everybody in your audience is. Would you tell us a little bit about Reiki healing?
Yes, so Reiki healing is actually originally coming from Japan. And I started doing it since 2017. And accidentally, I was intrigued by it. While my mother was sick, I was trying to find many different solutions. And I just want to say to people, I have a medical professional background, and it was really hard for me to watch it and have the hands tied, having all this morphine, Demerol, all these painkillers, seeing this woman actually struggling, and she's my own mother. So what I decided, I started searching for something different. And then I heard about Reiki, and actually I saw one of the monk performing it at one of the patients. And I started, and I found the best school and the best teacher about it. So what does it do? It's actually using the energy from the universe, not your own energy, that you are actually channeling and healing the body and removing the basically negative energy from your own body. And that's when actually body heals better, and basically the person feels better. I started doing that on my own mom, and then I couldn't believe that we removed the PCA pump, what is the morphine pump.
Mhm.
Then she would tell me continue. I was like, in the beginning, I'm like, maybe it's just like psychology. Then I started doing it more and more and more and more. And my friend Jackie also, she started doing it on distance, where she was holding my mom's picture every day, and she started feeling better and better. And that's when I decided I want to help people and say that they don't have to always use the big pharma. There's other options. They should try it. Of course, it's their own choice in their body. But Reiki is there and has been there for thousands of the years, especially in China, Japan, and and that eastern part of the world. And it's working really well. It's miraculous healing, and it's basically painless.
Now, is that something that anybody can learn, or does it take a special skill set to be able to do it?
Basically, what I will tell you, I learned it from the fourth generation of the teacher who was learning and teaching another person. So anybody can learn it, and anybody can attend the class. And it depends how much are you gifted with it and how much you're open to it. But also, what I would advise people just to be really careful where they're going, because I'm sure you hear about that, Dale, that so many times, oh, I'll give you a ticket or certificate in 24 hours, 48 hours. I spent more than 178 hours just on a practicum. And it took me like 2.5 years to get and become a master that I am. So if you really want to do it, I would just say anybody can do it, but just take a good school and a good teacher and do a little bit of research, because there's certain certificates that are just a lie, like printing out certificate for a birthday party. It's just like that. So that's what it would be.
I've always been kind of interested in that. I've known about the Reiki healing for a number of years, but it's never been something that I thought I could do myself. And is that something that do you have to be present to perform it, or can it be done from a distance?
It can be done from a distance. I have many clients from a distance, and that's when I first time in my life, when my mother was ill, heard about that. My friend Jackie, who is also a master of Reiki, she said to me, Daniel, while you're in a hospital with her, give me her picture, and I'm gonna do it at every day at a certain time with your mom while you were doing it there. And then, of course, I was learning at that time more. I wasn't a master yet because I was just learning about it. And then basically after that, when I got my skills, I realized that you can do it over the picture. And the reason why, this is the trick, and I will mention now Nikola Tesla. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only transfer from one form to another. So basically what you're doing, you are transferring the energy to travel to this person, and you will get it. They will feel immediately better. I have many clients that, especially during the COVID-19, that they said, oh, can I have this done? And I said, of course, no problem. And you don't have to leave your own home. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. You can even just relax and they'll set the date and the time, and you will feel how your energy and body cells is rejuvenating.
And you can book those sessions through your website, correct?
Yes.
I just shared your website link in the chat.
Thank you. Anybody the email is there. Anybody who would like to have a session, they're more than welcome, of course, to email me. And I have my assistant, and we arrange the time. So it would be my pleasure to help anybody who's willing to try.
And I've actually had that done for me before. And I did notice a difference in my pain level with my back. So it's something I definitely believe there's something to it. Now you mentioned earlier that you had seen shadow beings and spirits. I know I've just recently begun my own journey into lucid dreaming.
Okay.
It's something that I've tried to do for a long time, and I've recently, just in the last few weeks, been starting to have some success with it. But how do you keep the negativity away, like the shadow beings and things like that?
I will tell you something. When I was a child, somebody who said that immediately they were not scared of them, I would tell you openly they were a liar. I was a child. When I was a child, seeing those things, I could only run to my mother or scream, and she would, I would hide under the covers because I wasn't sure what was it. And then later, when my mother actually told me, "You're just like your great grandmother, and this is what you are actually carrying," I understood that I'm marked, that I cannot hide away from them because they are constantly feeling my energy as much as I'm feeling them. So basically, what I do now that I'm older, of course, I learned how to block them. So I actually, I do cleansing of my house. So I use the sage. I use the holy water a lot. I am a Greek Orthodox. That's by my own beliefs and where I'm coming from. So I use the holy water a lot. I use a lot of Aboriginal healing, and I smudge the place. And another thing that I would also say, I know many people don't know that, but I'm going to share that today on your show. And lots of times people ask me how you can remove the negative energy. I'm sure this is the cheapest, and I'm sure people don't need to spend a lot of money. You need to buy one lemon. So you take one lemon. This is an alchemy. It's coming from Mediterranean coast, and you cut a lemon in half. As you cut a lemon in half, you take a salt and you put it in a circle, and just leave it in a corner, not on the floor, anybody on any shelf. And what is happening, the salt is actually removing the negative energy, and the lemon is the cleanser. So as much as we know, many times you probably did see that, Dale, that people bring the, lemons and the oranges to the hospital. At the ancient time, this was also done because to prevent the negative energy and illness spreading back. But it's coming from alchemy. So this is very cheap. You don't need thousands of the dollars. You don't need to bring psychics and the mediums. You can do this in your own home.
And what about, I know a number of people, I've seen a couple of comments, and I know in my own life, my wife has seen it as well. What do you recommend to people that have seen spirits in their homes?
It depends what kind of spirits they see. There's a different kind of spirits. So the spirits can be negative, the spirits can be positive. They could be also just passing, because sometimes the house could be placed on the area where is actually portal open. There's nothing wrong with the household or with the people that are living in it. Nobody play with the Ouija board or whatever, black craft and whatever, but it's just placed on the portal where people are passing. Or, sometimes they're coming to contact us about something. If those spirits are negative, and, if there's issues, I actually dealt with that yesterday. One lady texted me about that. I openly said there's basically two simple things that you need to do. You use the holy water. You can use from any church, any belief place that you go to, any temple, and you just take a holy water. So I'm going to use my glass of water. And when you're done showering yourself, you take a drops of the holy water over this cup. So when you are clean, you're done with the soap, you pour it over your head because you're protecting yourself. So it's almost like you're basically renewing your baptism. And this is done for a long time. And then you sage your house and take also a little oil, the holy oil, and make a cross on the entrance of the houses. And 99%, whoever I said those things, I actually had a message this morning from a lady who told me everything was perfect. So it was perfect. Okay.
Hey, Doc, how the hell are you, bro?
I am rolling. Hello, Danielle.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
This is Carrie Davis.
Sorry I'm late. Got home from work.
That's okay.
Doc, you two have something in common. She's Greek Orthodox.
Oh, right on. Christos Anesti.
Oh, you're taking up. Well, Easter is gone a long time ago. So, and the resurrection of the Christ. But anyway, so thank you. But that's okay.
Nice.
It's good
Doc,
always.
thanks for jumping in, brother.
Hey, man, no worries. I came home and got out of the office a little later than I wanted to. Threw some food down my neck. Wanted to jump in. Didn't want to leave you to be the Lone Ranger tonight.
Well, I appreciate you, brother.
No
Thank
worries,
you.
man. No worries, Danielle.
And Danielle, you mentioned in this book, in your book, you were talking about this lake in Canada. Can you
Yes.
tell us more about that?
Of course. So this is a hidden jewel in Canada. And like I'm saying, I was accidentally searching for the cure for my mother. And, I had enough seeing her suffering from chemo, from radiation. She already had 4 surgeries on her body. And I just couldn't watch it anymore. And I started one night just typing miracles, healing, just trying to find anything. I'm going to tell you, I was desperate. And then I found the lake, the St. Anne or Wanakami or the Spirit Lake. And then I actually did see that this lake was also recognized by John Paul II when he was visiting Canada because of the miracles that did happen there. And that Aboriginal people have been praying there for over thousands of the years, doing all the Aboriginal healing and basically smudging and etc., even prior to the pioneers coming. So this lake also has something else. The meteorite came to that lake thousands of the years ago. It just fall down. And actually, they say that also what gave basically the special powers to the lake. And that now being somebody who is cryptic and somebody, I'm draconian myself, they also say that there is a dragon that lives inside of the lake by Aboriginal stories. And that dragon, at the time, they would give the bisons, offer the buffalo and whatever at a certain time, so that lake wouldn't take, their children. And also that, so this lake, when you come to it, I'll be honest to you, there's something very special about it. And now the Pope is coming again to this lake in a couple of weeks. He's going to come again because this lake is just, and you come, there's a whole wall, like you can see in my book, that it has like different kind of names, and it's all proven by the Capital Health here. All people that are healed from different kind of diseases and illnesses. There's even people that were healed from HIV, so nobody knows how. From multiple sclerosis, from basically being paralyzed. Nobody knows how, but the miracle is inside of the water. The magic is there. My mother. My doctor, Keith Tenkel, when we continued this therapy, he just looked at here at the cross country, said to me, Daniel, just continue what you're doing. That was all. And we didn't stop. So he didn't refuse it. I God bless him, a wonderful gentleman, now good friend of my family. He just said continue. So the medical professional were also supporting because my mother was healing.
And do you have to like bathe in the water, or do you drink it?
No, there is the lake is huge itself, but basically when you come to the base, there's a pilgrim area that happens every year in July. So basically, you can come and touch the water. You can come and light the candle. I personally do the Aboriginal way of the praying because I use the drum and I use the smudging and I light the candles. So everybody has their own way. So whatever you want to do, just to actually show that you are opening your heart and asking for basically the blessing of a lake, you can do it your own way. I'll tell you something. I think both of you would be shocked. Last year, I saw, for example, 2 ladies that are from India. So they were wearing their own saris. And then couple minutes after that, they were Muslim family. And the lady was in hijab. And she turned around and he said, how do you pray? Well, what do I need to do? I don't know why they came. Neither did I ask. I said, you pray whatever you want. And even my sister said, just go ahead and, you pray your own way. Nobody is going to judge you here. But they came for healing and nobody is going to judge you there. You can be any color, any religion, any race, and you pray in your own way.
Well, that's really pretty cool. You said a meteorite supposedly fell into the lake?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
This is thousands of the years ago. So they said this meteorite now is in Fort Saskatchewan. And so that's about 45 minutes away from where I live here in my own city. I'm on suburb. So basically that meteorite fall inside of the lake. and was taken out. Only the certain medicine men. Now this is quite amazing. They say when they do the smudging and when they actually pray, they can see the face of a god or a grand creator inside of that meteorite. But yeah, it was thousands and thousands of the years ago, and the meteorite is in Fort Saskatchewan in a display here, so it's a proof that existed.
Have they noted anything strange about the meteorite on display? Does it have any kind of weird radiation or anything coming from it?
They're just saying that it has a very supernatural powers. I will be honest to you, we are very respectful here, and I'm sure you know about that, about our First Nation here. So it's inside of the museum, and they're the only one that are allowed to take it out and pray on the certain days and times. Now they're asking, actually, what I totally agree, but of course that's up to them, to bring the meteorite and to put it at the pilgrim area, where is the basically the spirit lake. So, but that's of course up to the government, because it's a lots of money that you have to protection against it. So that's upon them. But there's a superpowers around it. There's healing, medicine men. There's 4 medicine men that they say when they do the praying, they can see the faces of a grand creator. Some people say that they felt the energy upon touching it. Just like you cannot touch it, but putting the place on, basically the hands onto the glass case around it. Some people say that they were feeling dizzy. So there's a really electromagnetic fields there, I think, that are playing the big role about it.
And is that? I'm sorry, kind of jumping back to the lake.
That's okay.
You said that there's a pilgrimage in July, but
Yes.
Can you visit at any time, or can you only go in July?
What is beautiful about this place? You can visit it anytime. After, of course, after midnight, you can't. After the dark goes down, and that's because there's creatures there that you are not allowed to. But I'll tell you about that. So,
Really, what kind of creatures?
You're gonna love that. So basically, and we are respected to that. So basically, but you can go any time of the year. You can go basically during the winter, summer, spring, fall. Anytime you want, you're more than welcome to go. But after the certain time, after the 10 p.m., everything is closed, especially that area, because in the middle of the lake, there's a little island. And that island actually has a picture in my book, again, with pelicans on it. Aboriginal people would pray there, and they would do the offerings. And there's actually originally the name of a gentleman who said that gnomes live there. And they come around the island, and you can hear the drums at a certain time. So when the BBC and CBC and the Global News was interviewing them, he openly said gnomes were here for thousands of the years, and they will continue because they were part of this lake, and that's where they are. So we respect that, and we respect their culture. So after the darkness go down, we don't disturb the creatures that do live there.
That's understandable. And where is this lake at? I mean
it's in Alberta. It's in Alberta.
I'd like to visit it myself.
Of course, it's in Alberta, Canada. It's about 45 kilometers northwest from Edmonton. Actually, in my book, there's exactly description about it. It's a really beautiful lake because on one side there's a pilgrim, and on another side there's beaches and the houses. And of course, Nakota people do have their own reserve there because they own the land. But it's very, very beautiful, very beautiful.
Well, that's really pretty fascinating. I would like to visit it. Both to see if it'd help with my back issues, but just to see it. I mean, just to kind of experience it for myself. So I think that sounds like a road trip. I might have to swing out to Colorado and grab Doc.
Well, you are all on the Rockies, so you're in Colorado, so just come up. So it's okay.
He's in Colorado. I'm in Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Okay, there we go. But still, it will be a nice drive, I guess. So.
I think it would be.
We'll just go up the Can-Am Highway.
There you go. Yeah.
Going kind of jumping. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place
it's
here.
Okay.
But going back to your Reiki healing. You can book that through your website. And you were saying it didn't matter where they were. You can do it from pretty much anywhere.
Of course, I will just, I have clients from all around the world, especially in the last 2.5 years since the COVID started. And people are actually, no, that's not Little Manitou Lake. You just type in Lake St. Anne, Alberta, but not Manitou Lake. That's the other lake. So basically, what you need to do, is just say, this is my name and this is what I would like to be done. And for example, Doc, if I can use you for a second, he sent me an email and say, you know what, I have a headaches and I suffer from the headaches and the back pain, and we will deal with that. And everything is always that very private and professional. But you can be. I have clients from all around the world, and I have even clients from Japan. So there is sometimes a little bit of the struggling with the English, but we manage it because we do the translation, but they're really happy. And I said, in Japan, you have more people than actually, that I'm here. But I said, we follow you, so we want you. I said, okay, so no problem. But yeah, it can be done anywhere, and the quality is totally the same, being in a studio or being in your own home. And some people prefer to be at their own house because they want that comfort. They want to feel more relaxed and they want to feel that energy actually traveling. And that's amazing because you are not here in my studio, but you are at your own house and you can feel the energy going through your body. And you will feel the tingling in your feet. You will feel a little bit. Sometimes people, they say, I got up and I feel dizzy. Of course, that goes away because you're just balancing. But it's all about the energy transferring and changing the forms. It's all about that.
Well, I know you mentioned Nikola Tesla earlier,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that Tesla said that the EM spectrum and energy flows through everyone and everything,
Yes.
and I would think tapping into that with a Reiki would be, part of that same balance, that same energy of the universe. So to me, it makes a lot of logical sense that since that energy is all around us anyway, if someone that could learn to direct that energy, you could do a lot of good with it. But by the same token, in the wrong hands, it could do a lot of harm.
Of course. That's also, I had a lady, I'm not going to mention the name because I'm very respectful to the clients. She said that she came, she asked this actually woman to come to her house. She said she was a Reiki master and she told her to remove all her clothing. And I said, why did you remove your clothing? First of all, you can be in your PJ, you can be in the shirt like I am right now. And she said she started taking like different kind of elements, and I said, that's not Reiki, sounds more to me like a voodoo or something like that. And I started laughing. But the truth what is, energy even right now, around three of us, it's running. All what you need to do is how to collect it and channel it into somebody's body. And that's what this monk actually, who did find the Reiki, find out when he was sitting under the tree. This is quite amazing. For 11 years meditating, nobody knows how. He didn't eat, he didn't drink. This is actually written in Japan in ancient books. And he was basically capable of transferring this energy and then starting to teach the people all around the world about it. Yeah, but Nikola Tesla is quite amazing. I respect him very much, and I think he doesn't even get that much benefit that he should. That's just my
I
opinion.
agree. I was going to ask something else and it completely slipped my mind. I was answering somebody's question typing. Now you were saying that people that have visited this lake have had improvements from multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
From all kinds of. What about something like mine's? My issue is I guess you could call it deep tissue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a severe lower spinal damage.
Yeah, I'll tell you openly. I have my book here, but I can send you some pictures, and I'm sure you can find them on my website too. There were people that were paralyzed, and I, as a medical professional, don't have an answer for it. And that's why this lake is recognized, because even the John Paul II did a research about it. Nobody knows how. And Aboriginal people actually didn't get that much credit as much as they could, because they actually, I should say, the church took over when actually French and British came. But prior to that, it was under the Aboriginal medicine men. And, but any kind of injury. So there was like, we are talking about somebody who's paralyzed in a chair. That means they cannot move their legs or their feet. There's people that, they had MS, Alzheimer, dementia. There's a cancer, liver sclerosis, addiction. There's many, you'll see addictions, some psychological issues too, thousands and thousands upon it. But, first of all, the church didn't recognize it in the beginning, Dale. You will be shocked about this. And I can share this with you, Doc, too. Because when pioneers came and they took over the land, they were actually terrorizing these Nakota people in a very brutal way. And what happened, chickenpox came, and, they were dying. And, of course, the French and British troops were dying and settlers were dying. But nothing was happening to Aboriginal people. They couldn't realize why. Then 5 small children, this is a true story, got really ill. And then somebody went to the father who was in charge of that church at that time. Everything is written in a book. And he said, take him to the medicine men. They will survive if you take them. You will see. So, of course, now the children are questioned. They are not adults. Everybody went to the medicine man and he cured them. He bathed them in the water and did the smudging and the sage. And after that, more and more miracles were happening. And they decided to call it, the father then decided to call it Lac Saint Anne or Lake Saint Anne in the name of the Virgin Mary Mother. But originally is Vanakami, or basically the spirit lake. And I call it more by the original name because I just like more to respect the tradition, what it is. But your tissue damage or any kind of, there's people that had, like I'm saying, paralyzed and they were capable of walking. Nobody knows how. But that's when I should say, not to be disrespectful, that's for the first time when the French and the British recognized this lake and they started bringing more and more. And they said, oh my God, there is something in the water. But Nakota people still did fight for their rights. And they said, you can come and pray, but you should respect our tradition and our culture, or the lake may get angry or whatever. So I should say white people did respect it and keep it that way. But I'm sure 99% that your basically illness will be cured easy like that. If my mom's rectal cancer that was almost stage 4 was cured, and now she's cancer-free for 5 years, we cut the cord. I was so happy. Then, somebody who had a issue with just like a spinal issue or, then that would be basically just like a piece of butter.
Wow. That definitely sounds like I need to make a road trip.
Yeah, he's crossing himself. Amen.
And if it's got the attention of the Catholic Church and they've accepted it, that's kind of speaks volumes there, because historically the Catholic Church hasn't always been receptive to other things like that.
No, this is the only place where actually, I should say, Roman Catholic Church accepted Aboriginal people, because many of our Aboriginal people here, during the colonizing, of course, they were terribly tortured inside of the schools, and that was even posted onto the TV. So I came to Canada when I was 14 years old, but of course I learned the history and I respect it very much. But the truth is they recognize it as soon as their children started being better and better. And that time, of course, there was no cell phones and whatever, so they would write the messages and send them. And more healings were starting to happen. But that's when actually, I should say, Western, or should say Roman Catholic Church and Aboriginal people guided together to keep this place holy and to allow healing to continue. So they respect one another very much. And I personally respect their both, but my connection there to Aboriginal culture and their healing is really close to my heart.
I think that's really fascinating. I mean, I think to me it would be worth a trip just to try it. I mean,
yes,
nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, no, and I'll be honest to you. When my mother went inside of that water, there's a chapter that they describe. I brought her there also searching for a miracle, not knowing if actually she'll be healed or not. But I was hoping, And I was just standing there with my dog at that moment because I was so stressed, pretending, I'm okay. I felt like water told me, come in, come in. I went inside of the water. I felt like somebody took 10,000 pounds off my shoulders and off my head. The water is not that cold compared, that it gets frozen, of course, over the winter time, but, you can bathe in it. But when you're sick, I will be honest to you, you will try it. And I think that's what, being in that kind of stage cancer, that actually I'm looking how to bury my mother. And now that she's cancer free for 5 years, that we destroyed the cross cancer cards, she's not in a remission, she's totally done, tells me that miracles do happen. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here for myself at all. I'm here to share this story, to tell people, there's other options there. Don't give up. And there's many other healings there that do exist, except big pharma, or just die there and wait. No, try different things. It's your choice, your life, but don't give up. Hope does exist.
I agree. There's so many times that things happen that medical science just can't explain why. And it's one of those things that's the power of faith is sometimes can move mountains.
Yes, true.
Yeah, Danielle, what's the Orthodox Church's stance on the lake?
You know what? Everybody comes there. I actually saw the Ethiopian gathering there just about a couple months ago. They come and because Ethiopians are Orthodox too.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw everybody comes. There's nobody. Everybody recognize the place because it's a holy place. I think personally, if you ask me, I think that there was a fight for a power, of course, at the time, knowing that ground is very holy. And these people didn't have a power. They were, occupied. They were terrorized, put in basically in these terrible schools, and their life had to be changed. They had to be basically changed in a second. What was really hard, but there's no faith or the church that didn't recognize it. Everybody does recognize it. Yeah, it's very, very powerful, my friend. Very powerful. Good. Yes. That's why I was shocked when I even saw the, Hindu people, not to be disrespectful, they're a little bit more open because they're into universe. But when I saw lady with hijab, with all due respect, I know they're very traditional and whatever, and I was like, oh. And she said, how do I pray? And even the gentleman, they were a younger couple with 2 kids, and the older gentleman came, oh, you pray whatever you want. And he went in the water. I don't know what was his problem, but he wanted to be respectful. That also tells me, mostly were Christians and Aboriginals and some Buddhist and Hindu, but now even, the Muslims are coming, trying to ask for hope and for healing.
Yeah, I mean, well, even in the Orthodox faith, they talk about the great mysteries.
Yes.
It's very spiritual, and I think that's one of the things that we recognize. Spirituality exists no matter what your religion is, whatever your denomination is. Spirituality is kind of a universal thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can be whatever and still receive. If you go there with faith, you can still receive, potentially that miracle.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
It's very cool. It's a very cool place. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to make a pilgrimage there just on the chance that I could see some kind of improvement.
And you can feel. I'll tell you something openly. I'm not the first one that would say this because I see that both of you are very, spiritual people and open. When you even cross that gate and enter and step on that ground, you feel its power. You feel it's something there. It's different. It's not like, I'm entering a regular, let's say, Yellowstone Park and I'm just going to be there and see the nature. This is totally something different. And when you see the pilgrim and when you see thousands and thousands of the people with crunches, all different kind of religions and faiths, and you hear the prayers, especially when you hear the Aboriginal drums drumming on the lake, it's just so emotional. So emotional. It's beautiful.
That's kind of overwhelming to think about it. I mean, especially if it's recognized by the Catholic Church and and the Greek Orthodox Church. To me, that lends a lot of credibility to it, that there's something there that even they're willing to take on faith.
Yeah, because there is a plaque there, and the plaque is on the bronze, and everything is written. And then there is a regular church on the side, on your right, and down on the left, just like you will see in a book. It's like a teepee, and that huge teepee is actually mixture of Aboriginal culture and the Western culture. I personally, and that's also written in my book. When I do the offering, I bring the cigarettes, I bring the alcohol, and I bring the coffee. And that's actually for the spirits of the lake to say thank you. I bring my drum. I have a drum that was given to me as a gift from my good friend, the medicine man, John. I know he's watching, so I'm going to say hello. So he is a wonderful, wonderful person. My good brother always guided me a lot. So I bring and I do the feather and I do the smudging for all of us. I light the candles and I do it in my own way. So, and I received it. My mother, she prays on a Greek Orthodox prayer. She doesn't pray. She was crossing herself and she entered the lake and she put her hands up. She was crying and shaking. And she even didn't speak it in English, but she received it. So I think lake is there for everybody.
Well, that is awesome. I'm glad you wrote the book about it. That is really awesome to bring a lot of attention. That could help a lot of people.
Thank you. That is my goal. Like I'm saying, that is my goal. Like I was, Doc, I was just sharing with Dale. I get so many emails, and the gentleman that really touched me today, it was from Montreal, and he said he ordered 3 books, and he said he has a family members that have multiple sclerosis, and he wants to try this. And I said, I didn't share this because I didn't experience it. My mom is the miracle, and I just want others to try and say, there is a hope, there is a chance. It doesn't matter who you are and what you are.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I just got a text from a buddy of mine. He's like, get the location of that lake. We could both use it. Yeah. I said, I'm going to get a copy of the book. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brother,
Thank you.
I could 3. That's for sure. I could
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody who's, anybody who's watching this show right now, it means a lot to me. Like I always say to everybody, this show is not about me. It's not about Danielle. It's not about nothing that is connected to me. At the last chapter in my book, you will hear something that I openly said. I said, you heal my mother. I promise you I'll make the world know about you and about, forgive me, that makes me emotional, and about your miracles. And that's exactly what I'm doing. It's not about Danielle at all. It's about the lake itself, the power that can heal many.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you're making it your goal to share that with so many people. As sometimes that there's just you've exhausted all other options, and faith is pretty much all you have left. I don't really want to go into a whole lot of details about my specific incidents
Yes.
On the air, but it's one of those things where I don't want to just slowly continue to decline. I want to find a way to get around it.
What I'm going to do, I know we're going to have a live podcast from there, but we have to arrange it because now, of course, we have the visit. And after the visit done, because now they're going to have security and everything. And I understand that that's the way the world works. But I basically, when you do the podcast live there, I'm going to light the candles for people. So whoever asks, I light the candles. I still do have people. And the other day, somebody told me my daughter is sick from a cancer. Can you light a candle for me? I said, of course I could, when I go there. And I made even the video, and I put the name of a girl, and I light the candle. Why not? It doesn't cost me millions of the dollars. But then the gentleman texted me, said, she felt a little bit better today. And that's what made me happy. It's not me. I'm just lighting the candle and putting the name and say, please, this girl needs some help. But, it's about showing to the others that there is miracles out there, and that's what is this all about.
Oh, absolutely. And the it's really kind of astounding how many people that it's helped.
Yes.
And now, is this something that you knew about for a long period of time, or was it recently discovered?
No, I that's what I even wrote in a book. When my mother was diagnosed from the rectal cancer, she was stage 3, almost stage 4, and she had a part of the bowel and the rectum removed. She had stoma on basically on her tummy. Now it's removed, so that's lucky. But if she had to live with that, she had to live with that. But basically, that's how she was healed. That they even removed the stoma. She only has a scar now. But I couldn't watch it anymore, Dale, the way she was suffering. I could see her every day deteriorating, and this woman was basically disappearing in front of my own eyes. Being a nurse, I thought like maybe I phoned every single doctor. I'm not going to lie to you, every single connection that I could have, but nothing was helping. And then one night I'm like, this has to stop. There must be some kind of solution for this. So I took my laptop and I started digging. And then, I put miracles, healing. And then I put miracles in Alberta, healing in Alberta. And that's when actually this lake came out. Then I phoned my good friend who is Aboriginal, and I said to him, what do you know about this lake? He said to me, yeah, Daniel, take her there. This is a wonderful place. I'm sure your mom will get a blessing. So basically, that's how it all started. So if somebody tells me, that miracles don't happen and that I didn't have somebody to guide me that night, that maybe somebody didn't call me that night, I don't think so. I think it was meant to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Now, I know you've got a pretty extensive background. Like you were saying, what's paranormal to some is just normal to you.
Yes.
And I know we've talked about people that have had paranormal incidents on the show before.
Yes.
I know my wife has had some issues in her life as well. And I who am generally pretty oblivious to things like ghosts and spirits, I've actually seen a couple that kind of freaked me out. But is that something people should worry about? Is there a reason we're seeing things like that, or?
No. If you take the spirits and the ghosts are constantly around us. So sometimes spirits and the ghosts, especially Doc will know that in a Greek Orthodox culture, they come when it's time for us to go to the other side. Anybody who's been in a medical field, they will know that patients sometimes, oh, my uncle came, my grandpa came, and you see that actually there's nobody because they're coming to take them to the other side. So this is not anymore something that is mystery. It's actually part of the life. Also, it depends what kind of spirit or ghost is with you. If it's somebody friendly, maybe they're just coming to check on you, maybe they're missing, maybe it's grandma to say hello, or maybe if you're going through a difficult time, they want to boost you up and tell you you're not alone. They can come into your dreams to visit too. That's when you light a candle and say thank you for visiting me. But if it's something negative, like we're talking about, very, like you're saying, dark, demonic, or however you want to call it, that's when you should be a little bit more worried about it. But if it's you would agree with me, Doc, but if it's a family and relatives, that's very much mentioned in the Orthodox culture, because spirits and ghosts also don't come just to destroy us. They also come to guard us, protect us, and, sometimes take us to the other side too. So if it's time, that's the way it goes. Yeah.
And you said Danielle, you said you're a nurse?
Yes.
I am too. So,
hey, there you go.
So
I salute you then.
And I've seen that myself in the intensive care unit, in the emergency room, because I worked critical care my entire career as a nurse, and so I have experienced that spirituality, that spiritualism, the spiritual aspect of it firsthand. Aside from my faith, I've seen it firsthand in the medical profession as well, and in my time in the military as well. So
yeah, and I'm sure you probably did see the cases that sometimes our doctors will say, everything is gone. There's no way we can save this person. And maybe they said they will leave for next 24 hours or they will die in 7 days, and they're just off life support machines, but they make them comfortable with morphine or whatever, just to make them comfortable leave. And then they started picking up, and they come back, and you're hooking up back everything, and you go like, oh my God. But I did see things like that too. So, but I also did see something. I'm not going to mention the name. I was very young then. When I entered the nursing world, I was only 19. And I will remember my first patient when actually he died. He was a year and a half, and he died on a Christmas Eve. But when I saw, because it was a liver transplant, when I saw the little body, I felt that he's at peace. Because prior to that, you saw him, all the jaundice, you know what I'm talking about. He looked like a marker, yellow marker, like you paint the wall. He was poked, I don't know how many times, because his body was just tired of it. He was only a year and a half. So when I actually saw him after that in the little bassinet that evening, I actually saw that he was at peace. So it was his time to go. So sometimes we take also that as a terrible thing, but also sometimes that is saving us from a misery that we don't need to face anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I definitely agree.
It's horrible, but it's true. I know I'm very passionate, and I support life 100%. But when you see somebody like they die in their own way, they're peaceful, and that's the first time in my life. And I was very young. I looked and I said, this child is at peace. And I turned around and I looked at the other nurse, Marilyn, and I said, Marilyn, he doesn't look like suffering, because I was very young, of course. And this was the first time I saw the child dead in front of my own eyes. And I always work with pediatric intensive care. She turned around and she said to me, Danielle, he's resting now. He's better. And that's when I realized that sometimes that can be also ending a misery because that little body was abused so much.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got to listening to that story and just zoned out on the question I was going to ask. I got distracted.
That's okay.
Your book is available on Amazon. Can they order it through your website as well?
Yeah. So if you wanted to order it to the Amazon, you can, of course, order it to the Amazon. If you want to order it to me, they can order it to my website. There's the email there. If you wanted the signed version, because many people want me to sign, then I said, I feel like so great now because I joke. And then I'm very person who is a bubbly and loves to joke dog. So I know Dale knows more about me, but so I love to joke. I love to laugh. And I always like to bring more positivity and energy. But if they would like the signed version, they can also email me, and I will be more than happy, of course, to assist them with that. But if they want it directly from the Amazon, they can order it directly from the Amazon. Yes.
I just posted the link in the chat for the Amazon link, but I would like to get a signed copy.
Oh, thank you. No problem. No problem. It'll be my pleasure. Doc is putting the hands up. I feel such a good energy here. I feel good. It's good. It's good. It's a positive energy. Yeah.
Well, St. Michael's in the house, so that's why.
Yes, it's very beautiful. Yes, very beautiful.
Now, for people that couldn't make the journey, I know that's for a lot of people that's pretty far, and
of course.
Could they benefit from the healing properties of the lake if they can't get there?
You know what I would actually do? I would connect with a priest. There is a priest and parish there. There's also Aboriginal Healing, basically medicine men. They're all publicly there on the website, and you can ask. So sometimes what they do, they also do a special prayers. Sometimes they can, and you can also contact me. I'm more than happy if you cannot make a journey and you would like me to put your name there, to light a candle. It'll be more than my pleasure. I really don't mind. And many people contact me for that, and I do it. I have all candles with the names, and then I take pictures, and I said, okay, this one is yours. It makes me happy because lake is not my property. It's not property of anybody. It's a gift from above. And I think we just need to share it with others and get this blessing. But you don't have to be there. I'm sure that right now, because they're making it much, much bigger, I'm sure even if you take and phone the parish, you can get the holy water packed to you, or whatever they think that would be appropriate. Depends which country, but the States is never a problem because we are back and forth with one another. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Again,
Your train of thoughts jumping the tracks, brother. We're having a regular revival over here in the comments, but
yeah, I apologize. I'm
That's okay.
I'm still struggling with a little back pain, but it's a little distracting. Completely losing my train of thought. I apologize. Now, how long is the book? How big is the book?
Book is not that. I have it here. So this is. I'm not good with camera. Yeah, I'm not good with camera, but that is the book, and maybe so perfect. So I'm gonna turn the page. So that is the page where actually you can see all the different crunches and everything inside. So I'm trying. So there we go. So this is how lake looks like. So everybody,
Wow.
Yeah, that's how lake looks like. So the original, every picture in here is original. 99% pictures, because I didn't want anybody suing me, or they are taken by me with my own cell phone. So nothing, and that's what I like when Google was doing because this is, Canada is pretty strict about that. This book went under lots of research because there was cross cancer Edmonton mentioned. So they checked that. They checked my mom's cross cancer card. They checked that, she was a real patient, that she got healed. So everything inside here that was written from beginning to the end was checked. And that's what makes me happy, because the story is really true. It's made out of the fact, and everything in there, it's original. And so that's what also making me happy. Yes, maybe Canada is a little bit more strict about that, but it should, because there's people that like to make money, make the websites and donations. None of that. This book is straightforward. Everything is basically fact, and everything is the whole truth about it. And every name inside of the book is originally named of a physician, of a doctor, of a healer, of a place. And if you Google any of those things, you will immediately find them. For example, you put Dr. Keith Tenkel, oncology, you will get it. You put Dr. Dale Berg, you will get it. So every name in there is actually original. And even the docs are really happy when actually I wrote a book. And so they said, people need to know about this, because they're big shots, but they are also really open to a different kind of healings and surviving this terrible illness.
Yeah, I mean, when everyone has exhausted everything else that we have in our modern arsenal, then what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? It's just, you go there on your faith and your faith alone. And if you go there expecting a miracle, then I believe that can happen. I honestly do. I have seen it in the medical field myself. I've been in the medical field for 30 years, and I have truly seen miracles happen from people who are in stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The next week, they're do a PET scan. They're 100% completely cured. What do you have to lose?
There's no explanation of it. I'll never, talking about the faith in Aboriginal healing, and the reason why I'm bringing that, because I can also say that basically I'll never forget one patient that we had, again, because it's pediatrics. He was a child, and it was like ECMO is a machine that acts like a fake heart. And this little girl got a heart transplant. She was there for months. We are not, and you know that. It's not like, oh, I get a heart transplant tomorrow, I go home. Oh, yeah, right. Anyway, so after a while, she was rejecting it. So all the doctors were saying, oh, it's going to go down. It's over. And the toxins in the body, everything was just going terrible. And then they brought a medicine man, and he started praying and praying and praying. He was on Crete, a different type of the Aboriginal people here in Canada, First Nation. He spent more than, I don't know, 2-3 hours every day. And after that, the heart was accepted. Even if we are ready to take off the ECMO machine, you know, what was supporting it, and the chest was open, you can see the heartbeat beating itself, the sternum is open, and you go like, wow. So we failed, but he succeeded. How? I don't know.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm sure, Doc, you saw that. So that's, sometimes we cannot explain it, but that's what it is.
Absolutely. That's what faith will bring you right there. That's for sure.
Yes.
Well, I think it's fascinating that people from multiple faiths are having the same experiences. To me, it kind of proves that there's a unifying power to the universe. My wife and I don't always see eye to eye on religion, but she has this belief that different religions are basically trying to explain the same thing in different ways. So I'm kind of on board with that. I think it's very much multiple faiths explaining one power to the universe.
Amen.
You know, there's a chief of, his name is also in a book, the chief of Nakota Nation that comes there basically all the time, where, especially during the pilgrim. And he mentioned one word, and I'll quote it. He said, "We are here, over here, under the same sky, beside this holy lake, to ask for healing. It doesn't matter what color, what religion we are. We just ask for healing." And I quote his words. I totally agree with that, because it's, and I agree there with your wife too, because, you know, if you take any holy book and you have any kind of, I'm not going to go into politics, but if you have any kind of crazy mind, you know, you can get masses of people following something into something that it shouldn't be. But unfortunately, I think till the grand creator or something else doesn't happen, you know, we'll have to learn it the hard way. That's just my opinion. So, but I believe we are all coming from the same place too. But it depends how we pray. And if you are not harming anybody, how you praying, it's your own decision. But of course, we still need to learn that. We are far away from that.
I completely agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think, I wish more people would understand that, and maybe there'd be a lot less tensions between people of different faiths. Maybe they could find common ground instead of finding reasons to disagree.
That's true. You know, for somebody, for example, because I'm raised in a Greek Orthodox faith, that it's very traditional. Orthodoxy means old tradition. So we follow exactly the way, the Bible was written. Maybe a little bit off the side now that but 99% is still the same. Sometimes I laugh when they show my big fat Greek wedding. I start laughing. And I go like, oh my God. But the truth is, it's very traditional. So
yes.
It's very traditional, and it's not changed the way it was done during the time of the Jesus Christ. So many branches then developed after that. Did they went further from faith? That's up to God to decide. But, I don't think any faith should be used to destroy one another. I think we should be all respectful to one another and find a common ground. But like I'm saying, our psyche Dale is too far away from it. Being a nurse, I saw and I still see people, all different kind of faith, all different kind of religion dying. And I look at them. There's no difference in treatment. There's no difference in anything. If it's your time to go, you will go. It's not Danielle will live longer because she's a Greek Orthodox, and this one is going to die sooner because he's Roman Catholic, or Protestant is going to die 10. No, if it's your time to go, there's no. But that's what I'm saying. If we could find a common ground, the world would be much better. But we are far away from it.
I agree. If it's your time, it's your time. But I've ducked that. I've ducked that event a couple of times in my life. I've had a few very close calls in my law enforcement career.
Oh my God. I understand that. I understand. I work really closely with our Canadian military, and many of them were my patients, especially when they come from Afghanistan, Pakistan. They come from Germany bases, and they come. I have wonderful friendship with them, and I must say, as much as we judge the soldiers, I always say, why are you judging them? Once when they're done, we don't need them anymore. When they're done doing what we wanted, and now they're not good anymore. So it's like new president. It doesn't matter which country comes. So this is his ideology. Now we don't like that ideology anymore. We don't like those soldiers. Now let's start the new one. And I said, but 10 minutes ago we liked them and we called them the heroes. Now they're this. So to me, every soldier is a very honest, strong person that fights and presents its country. But he serves with his body and with his mind. But when his body is deteriorated, sometimes we forgot him, and that's what makes me sad. Makes me very sad.
Not only that, Danielle, we fight with our spirit too. So there's
true, totally.
There's a spiritual battle there as well. Believe me.
It's funny you would mention that. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Let me see if I can raise it up a little bit. I'm wearing my 22 a day shirt.
Ah, awesome.
For the 22 a day program. It's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
I've had a few losses in that field myself, and it's something that I support deeply. The Valhalla Project and the 22 a day program to trying to help reduce or end veteran suicide.
I'm allowed to mention because for example, some of the first Canadian soldiers, the Paul Franklin, he's still my friend. He was the first casualty in Canada. He was my patient. I'll never forget how he came, and I was just shocked. But of course, sometimes the struggling and psychological trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder, it's still there. You need to live through what you saw, or if you lost a limb. We as a ladies, for example, I took my nails off. I always joke with the women and I say, we cry because the nail is broken. Imagine missing your limbs. Imagine living without that. And we are crying over one broken nail. And at that second is quiet. I said, you tell me that. So that's, to me, every soldier I respect, and I think they are really should be honored. That's because many of them are also my friends, and I work really closely with them, and I respect them deeply.
Absolutely.
Of course.
I want to say thanks to Robert Miller for the super sticker. Thank you, brother. And you had a question from the chat. Paranormal Heart Podcast says, question from Danielle. Have you been to any military houses, PMQs, and sensed anything?
Military houses are a little bit different. So when you go to the military houses, you may feel the spirits, you may feel the visitors, and sometimes you can feel all different kind of energies. So it depends where you are and what kind of that house was basically exploited to what kind of energy. I think Doc would agree, and both of you would agree there with me. So of course I've been in. It depends where and basically where you are and what kind of energy is in there. But most of the time, the energies that I feel, I'm not going to lie to you, are sorrow.
Yeah.
Sorrow.
Now I know we've kind of addressed the Reiki healing and the healing from this lake, but you said you'd also do spiritual advising. Have you ever helped anybody with PTSD?
Yes, I have. Some of the my clients actually are actually military personnel, and what we actually do the sound therapy. So the sound therapy actually acts on the frequency of your brain waves. So anybody that knows neuropsychiatry or neuropsychology. So what does it do? It calms down the nerves. And also I do the light therapy. So the light therapy will also work again the sensory. And another thing with Reiki, when we combine those three or we combine the two, what we do, we're actually removing the negative energy, and we're actually slowing down the tension between the neurotransmitters. So that way the neurotransmitters will calm down. function better between the brain waves, and you would feel better slowly, step by step.
And anybody that's listening that's struggling with this, I know there's a few. What advice can you give them that they could do on their own to maybe help ease that?
Of course, the most important thing, and I'm always willing to help people in any kind of way, the most important thing is the routine. So when you start the healing of yourself, you have to start the routine, because then you are actually programming your brain. So this is part of the neuropsychiatry and psychology. So you choose a certain time. I would always start the noon or the evening, so 12 or 7 p.m. You would put the Zen music. For that, you don't need, guys, any money. You can use your cell phone. But type the Zen music and choose which sounds are calling you. Not what is good for Danielle or for Dale or for Doc or Sean or Sydney. No, what's good for you. There's many different kind of types, from nature, from Buddhist, from guitar. You choose those ones. You also lay down for 15 to 20 minutes in a beginning. It can be even 5 minutes for beginning. And just put your hands down and relax your feet. During that time, you're releasing all the negative energy, and just try to connect with the sound, because what you're doing, you're actually basically calming down your neurotransmitters, because sound does calm down the neurotransmitters. And then you can do also meditation. So it goes a little bit by little bit. Start with 5 to 7 minutes. It doesn't, and then you'll immediately say, "Oh, I feel much better." Slowly, step by step. Those are some of the sound therapy, Zen music, and meditation are really good and harmless. You don't need a lot of money at all. You need your cell phone, and also what you need is just the timing. Once you get that timing, don't let it off. Then you will feel, I want more, and that's how you recuperate slowly. But there's no need for money. No.
I've always had a difficult time doing even guided meditation, because I don't know if it's because I'm a writer, or if this is what actually encouraged me to be a writer. But ever since I was a very young kid, I have not been able to shut my mind down. I've constantly got conversations in my head. I'm running over different things I need to be doing. I refer to it as having an unquiet mind. It's never silent. And it's very difficult for me
some people are like that. There's nothing wrong with it. That means you have more, you are tuned into many different channels. So for you, for example, writing would be the expression of yourself, or basically expressing what is bothering you. And that time you're concentrating that piece of paper writing. But again, it's another therapy. Writing, as much as art, it's also a therapy, and Doc knows about that. Painting, as much as art, is also a therapy. Music, as much as art, it's a therapy. So whatever even some people, they want to do painting. Painting is a beautiful way of, also removing the tension of basically of your mind and neurotransmitters. But any of those things would help. But, that's why they are, because you are tuned in. So if you like art, you can use the art too. It's quite. Some people like clay. I found out. I sent a couple of my friends, I should say, they're actually in the States, and they asked me, Daniel. I said, "Why don't you?" I cannot meditate, Daniel. I said, "Do you have a clay?" "Oh, yes, I do." I said, "Go buy a clay. It doesn't have to be expensive one, and start building with your hands the textures. Start expressing yourself. What they actually made, it's quite beautiful." But then one of them actually got connected in Minnesota, clay something, I forgot, but it's like a group when they do the clay. So all of those things are actually artistic, but they're also expressing your soul and relieving the tension of your mind, body, and spirit.
I know. I had an incident happen back in 2012 where I got kicked in the head multiple times. I've had multiple concussions over the years, but had a really severe concussion over that. Was in a neck brace for a couple of months. Spent about a month not being able to remember my kids' names or finish conversations. But I used my writing as kind of an outlet for that after I was able to focus again. But it took a little bit, and I had some issues with that going back into uniform after I was finally cleared to go back, and I still have some issues with it from time to time.
Thank you for sharing. And I'll be honest with you, that's very normal. I'll be honest to you. I have many people that, I go down the mall, for example, on the mall, they call me Danielle, and my mom was like, who's that? And I go, oh, that's, I call them my brothers, whatever, because I look at them really honestly as my brothers, and it's all about getting rid of that energy, negative energy, and resetting the mind after the trauma. Because when you have trauma, you have to reset your mind. Now I'll show you something. Somebody who is, I don't know if he can see it, but I
Star.
have a scar. Yeah. Uh,
I got a pretty good one right here on my arm
yeah.
too.
And I have on the other hand, so here, oh, it's better actually if I go like this. So I'm really bad with, okay, so I have it from there to there too. And I have 2 plates and 12 screws. So I fell when I was 15 on the ice. And I had open fracture and I had pinched nerve. I had a head injury. I couldn't remember many things. It was terrible. Anyway, after that, I was terrified to walk on the ice. So, and I will
I
be
can
honest,
imagine so.
I still, when it's icy, I go like, oh my God, not again. So I'm telling you, for example, and I didn't wear a uniform. I was a child and I slip and fall. And it was quite traumatic because I had percussion, I had pinched nerves. So my digital nerves, doc, what I mean, I couldn't move them because the nerves were totally damaged. The tissue was totally damaged. I don't have my bone. I have 2 plates from my wrist to my elbow, and I have 6 screws on each side. But I still get really scared when I walk on the ice. I pretend, but in my head, I'm like, not again, not again. So there you go. I think that's also very normal because certain things, they are just in our head. And even that was a long time ago, I still don't like the ice. So
I don't blame you. If I had a break that bad, I would probably avoid the ice most of the time as well.
Yeah, and we get really icy here. So imagine I have to deal with that. So sometimes I go like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, there you go. So I can share your pain because I have some too. So
Well, is there anything you can recommend that? Because I've tried to do like meditation, because I know part of that is like leading up for the lucid dreaming that I've been
yes.
kind of getting involved in. Is there a way to quiet your subconscious like that?
So if you're actually, lucid dreams can be very tricky, if I can say that, because they can guide you in a different directions. They can also make you confused. They're also telling us the stories that are actually part of the life and part of the future too, and the present. Basically, what you need to do is, during that time, I would keep a journal. First of all, I would keep a journal and write each dream after I'm done. So that way I don't forget it because sometimes lucid dreams can be so confusing, like what really happened. And those lucid dreams can be a compass for past or for the future. I read dreams because my great grandmother did read the dreams, and that's very common in our culture because they would discuss the dreams. So, but if you want to calm that, I would also recommend green tea. Green tea, chamomile tea are the something that are harmless. Of course, first discuss that with your doctors if you're on any medications, but those are really good for actually calming down. And there's another tea that I'm not sure if you guys have it, but it's on my website, and that's Aboriginal teas. Those are Aboriginal teas that are made from different kind of herbs from the mountains, and actually we have them here in Canada. They are made by our Aboriginal group, and they're actually giving you all the healing and the calming down, especially after the stressful day. So that's very good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say about I've got some green tea, but I don't drink tea very often. I'm more of a coffee guy.
That's when, caffeine is really good. So, yes.
I drink a lot of coffee,
Yeah.
probably more than I should.
I'm addict to tea. I have about, now everybody's going to be shocked. I'm really bad. I should know better. I think about 8 to 10 cups per day. So I'm really bad. So, I should know better, but I'm horrible. I admit.
can you buy that tea, the Aboriginal tea, through your website?
Yes, you can. It's actually there, and the Aboriginal teas are actually very good teas because what they're doing, they're actually providing the balance of your body. It's originally made by our tribes. Of course, it's all checked and approved. But I don't think you guys have them in the States. I never saw them there, but we
Okay.
have them here. Yeah.
I do have some green tea, so
Yeah.
I'll probably start with that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
probably
very
drink
good.
a cup of that before I go to bed.
Yeah, that's very good. It's very good for calming down in a hospitals, and even my great grandmother, and even still we use the chamomile tea. It's very good, especially if it's caffeine free. It's also very good for soothing and relaxing too.
Um, I've never really liked chamomile, but I do like green tea. I might have to order some of the tea you have on your website. I might have
No
to try that.
problem. My pleasure. My pleasure.
I would definitely like to try it. Northwood says I rarely drink anything with caffeine anymore. I used to consume way too much of it. Yeah, I drink probably more coffee than I should. I call it productivity juice. I drink coffee when I'm writing.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It keeps me motivated, keeps me working. Doc, I think you had another question. Oh, you already answered it. Okay.
He's fast.
You're already up on that.
Yeah, I'm listening and typing too at the same time. So
he's fast.
sometimes I'm not so fast. So
sorry, I'm kind of drawing a blank for a minute there. In the book, does the book, is it just talking about the lake, or does it have other like testimonials in it, or does it describe?
There's many other testimonials on it. Like I mentioned, for example, the gentleman that is talking about the gnomes. I mentioned the pilgrim. I mentioned how the first actually priest recognized it and wrote to the church in Europe asking this place to be recognized. There is pictures and there's thousands of the testimonies there. While I'm explaining it and saying that I was just blessed that my mom was also one of them. But inside of the book, everything is written like I'm saying in a detail. How the water is blessed, what kind of basically rituals they did, what kind of offering I did. I even said that I went and I did a research because I wasn't sure, being in a Greek Orthodox faith is totally opposite where I'm going and what to do. But I wanted to honor it and to ask, what do I need to do? So I contacted my Aboriginal friends and they told me, this is Daniel, what you need to do. So I went and I bought tobacco. I went and I bought some coffee grinds and whatever. And I repeated the ritual in my head while they were telling me on the phone, and I wrote it. So when we came there, I actually did it. I described in the book what I did. So to me, I also grow as a person. And I think anybody who reads the book, they will also grow in a spiritual way and understand that there is many different doors there that we just need to unlock, because we are so locked in our own way that we don't see other things that are out there.
Trying to think how I want to phrase this. Now I talked about the lucid dreaming. My ultimate goal with the lucid dreaming is try to access the Akashic records, because they're questions I've wanted to ask since forever, and that to me the lucid dreaming is kind of the first step. And I know you read tarot and
Yes.
you do spiritual counseling.
Yes.
What would you recommend to try for someone trying to attain access to the Akashic records?
Akashic records are amazing. That's first thing that I can say. I read some, I always, when I find more and more, I dig into it. I also always talk to, there's a gentleman that it's mentioned in my book. He's also a nurse, but also a social worker and also theologist back home. He's originally from Tibet. So, Nepal, Tibet, and he would tell me many things. So we would kind of share many things. And basically what I would say, if you wanted to enter the Akashic records, you can go through the dreams because you are
Mhm.
traveling in your mind. You can do astral traveling, so out body experiences when you actually master your way out. And
Mhm.
another thing that I would actually go through it, because I know with you it's a little bit harder because you don't know how to, not you don't know, forgive me not to be disrespectful,
Oh,
but
you're
it's
fine.
hard for you to balance so many connections in your brain. Meditation is another one, but the third one, did you ever try to go and listen the sounds of drums?
How is there the recordings of that, or how do you find
Yeah,
them?
the most people, like now I'm going to mention, so some of the monks, I'm talking about the monks, Tibetan monks,
Mhm.
Buddhist monks, and gurus, they actually use the Tibetan bells or Tibetan drums. So you can search that again on the basically and found which beat or their chanting. Their chanting is different than the Zen music because they have a really deep voices, and while you concentrate, it kind of guides you to it. And some people, I'm not going to mention the name, but they said that they were capable of seeing the numbers from Akashic records. They were capable of basically getting answers that they wanted. I know Nikola Tesla used those basically drums, and he went and did a lot of research on the India together with his friend, mathematician from the India. So basically, that's another thing that you should try, because they're pretty cool. So you can just
Where
put,
can I find those recordings?
you can also find them on YouTube. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah, yeah. That's why I don't like when people start selling, forgive my language, crap. It's all about making the millions of the dollars or making
Mhm.
money on something that you don't need to pay.
Right.
Now, of course, we have so much access to this phone. So, you just put Tibetan chant, Buddhist monks, or, Buddhist chanting, Buddhist drums, and just choose which one you go with it. Maybe in the beginning will take a little bit longer, but I don't think so because you'll find the one that really kind of connects to your brain, and you will be capable of getting more answers to it.
Okay. I will. I always uh, I at night when I sleep, I have these noise canceling earbuds, and
Yeah,
I always listen something like um, some of it is like deep sleep music,
yeah,
because the smallest noises will wake me up, and
yeah.
then I'll be awake for hours.
You are
So
very
I
sensitive. Yeah, you're very sensitive.
so
Yes.
for the last few years, I've been using those noise canceling headphones because it really helps me sleep and stay asleep. So I think I'll try that tonight. I'll try to find some of those
Yeah,
Buddhist
and
chants.
see, you're talking about again the deep music. Again, you're
Mhm.
using the sound therapy to actually help you with your neurotransmitters to release the tensions. And now the sound therapy is used all around basically the hospitals now. And now what I'm really happy that Reiki is being recognized here in Canada. We use it now at Cross Cancer Center in Toronto, starting in Australia and all around
Mhm.
because it's proven that people are actually recovering faster and healing faster after getting this treatment. So it's beautiful that we are kind of expanding a little bit there.
Yeah, Doc, you're muted. You were just talking along.
Sorry. I
And
will
we are
say this,
listening.
listening to her talk and what your questions were. I deal with this. I had in my military career, I had multiple concussions, things like that, tinnitus, hearing loss, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm like you, my mind races, and so I use a combination of white noise and the Tibetan singing bowls
Very
uh,
good.
to help kind of calm me. But I'm like you. I'm deaf as a post. But if I hear a mouse fart at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm up, and my brain automatically says, "Oh, we're up. It must be time to start thinking about what we did 10 years ago." You know,
Exactly.
and
Do you
so
remember that report you didn't submit back in 2007?
exactly.
Damn it.
Did you chart that central line that you put in just the right way, or what? I mean, it's that type of stuff, and so that has helped me a lot uh, with my sleep, and my dreams have been. I don't have, my dreams have been better. I don't have nearly the nightmares
Good.
that I used to have.
Good.
And don't wake up in a cold sweat. Don't wake up swinging. Don't wake up worrying about getting the tourniquet on too tight. Things like that. So, yeah, that's really helped me out a lot as far as getting some good restful sleep. But I think that, and my friend Olga, the one I told you about that did my Akashic record reading years ago, she advised me on that, and it really, really helped me out a lot.
I totally agree with him, because that's what I was just sharing with Dale, because those sounds are totally different than we are used to of the regular music, the chanting and the beats of the Tibetan drums, Tibetan bowl, their chanting and the prayers. If you kind of try that, it's really proven that it's actually acting on neurotransmitters and
Yeah.
basically the brain waves, and you feel much better. But I can connect to you, gentlemen. I'm not basically military personnel, but having a medical background and being a psychic and a medium, my clock is totally screwed up, so I sleep very little.
Yeah, absolutely.
I sleep very little. I'm in a bed maybe for 3-4 hours and I'm up. But then when I get down, I don't move. That means I'm done. I'm done.
And that's the common theme. Different jobs, but we all have the same element because we're all subjected to different types of stressors. And people's bodies, their psyche, everything responds to those stressors. And if we can do something to slow down or speed up slow down the bad neurotransmitters and speed up the good neurotransmitters to help us get more restful sleep, that's going to help us heal from within, and that's the whole body aspect of it right there.
Yeah. My clock is screwed up. Yeah, I can, so it doesn't matter. You can wake me up 2, 3, 5, 7, 1. I'm up. I'm ready, and it's quite crazy. I have a big RV, and basically, what it's funny. If we go to Jasper, it's about 4 hours drive from us, it's a national park. My mother gets really worried, and I drive it. And she would say in the beginning she was scared because I'll come from a night shift, work the whole night, take a shower, and drive the RV. But I will be just like awake, like I'm right now. And she goes, how do you do it? I said, because I'm screwed up. My head is down.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this: all the stuff that I've been doing, DA and Danielle, over the last few years, the VA wanted to put me on all kinds of meds and everything like that, and I'm like, nah, we're not
there with you. I hate taking meds.
Yeah, we're not going that route. We're going the more holistic route. And I'm gonna tell you what, I have been better off doing that because I have lost several friends who didn't take that route and unfortunately gave in to those demons. So it's a real thing, man, and it's something that people need to be aware of. And you can heal from that stuff. You can heal from through doing these different treatment modalities. And I'm a big huge fan of that. And as a nurse, I'm more preventative and more holistic than I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, so same here. Same here. Like I was telling you, I saw miracles. I still see them, and like I'm saying, I have one living in my own house because that was my mother, and the woman survived. She wouldn't be alive today if we basically just let her there. Get the chemo radiation was just deteriorating. She had over 11 surgeries and stoma, then reversal of the stoma, and it was just hell. And I just couldn't watch it anymore. And I said, I have to find a different solution. And like you said, for your friends, that solution was here. My mom's solution was the lake.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you have enough stressors of your own to deal with. Being a psychic, being Reiki and everything like that, that's you have a lot of other external things that happen to you that does not happen to DA and I on a regular basis. So the lake seems, I'm intrigued. I've never heard about it until DA sent me the pre-show information on everything, and I'm like, that's really freaking cool. I wonder, and I'm wondering this is something to touch on what DA had talked about. Have you heard of any instance of it helping the folks with PTSD?
Yeah, I heard many, and that's especially there is like on that board. There's people that would say that had psychological issues, that they had
Mm-hmm.
addiction. Forgive me for
Mm-hmm.
that, with
Mm-hmm.
medication, alcohol, drugs, certain stuff. That they had certain traumas, and they came there and they were all healed. There's panels and panels and boards of many different testimonies around them on that wall, and it's quite amazing to see because it's happening every day. And I also think, if I can say this, that the world is a little bit more quiet about it because big pharma doesn't want you to know about these places. They like their money. So
I
Well,
don't
there's
disagree.
no money in a cure. There's only money
Yeah.
in treatment.
here
Absolutely. I
here
don't disagree.
here, of course, with some people because it's far away, but still, if you come or you ask somebody to light a candle for you, or ask Father to send you holy water, or prayers or whatever, some people will make a trip because they want to do it. But I'm just telling at least that's once a trip. They won't get hurt, they will get healed, and they
Yeah.
will get better, and there's no harm from it. So it's not like, okay, I'm giving you all different kind of stuff. I'm going to give you Zoloft, then I'm going to give you Paxil, then I'm going to give you all different kind of stuff. Let's go on. Well, give you a little bit Advance, and after that,
Yep.
have some Haldol will help you, and list goes on and on and
Yep.
on. As the list is becoming bigger and bigger, your actual health is deteriorating more and more and more and more and more. Because those medications, as much as they're helping, as much as they're terrible too.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. 100%.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like DA said, there's no money in the cure.
No.
Yeah, that's why so many diseases that should have been cured a long time ago haven't been.
There is a gentleman, I'm getting in contact with him, but he said that he found, I'm not allowed to mention the name yet because I'm really close in contact with him, that he found a certain med that can actually prevent one type of a cancer. It's not a rectal cancer. And he said that they tested already. But I was shocked what it's made of, being somebody who is, and I'm like, what? He said, yeah, it's helping them. And
Amazing. That's good stuff.
Yeah, true.
That's good stuff.
True.
How's your back doing, brother? You look
I'm
like
all right.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay. I just
Need
got to
to
keep
stretch
shifting
a
a
little
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, as comfortable as this chair is, even it gets pretty bad after a bit.
I'm sorry, brother.
It is what it is. It's the reality of things.
I know.
Did you try those? There's a special, like a gel pads. Do you know what I mean? There are gel pads too.
Mhm.
You put the gel pads. They're at the back. You put
Oh.
them. Yeah,
Oh.
and you can put them. Yeah, they are really, really good for the
Dude.
back. Yeah.
When I take my road trips, when I drive down to Texas or wherever, and I'm driving 12 to 16 hours in a
Yeah.
row, I have one of those for my low back,
Yeah.
my lumbar area. 'Cause I jumped out of airplanes for a few years, and
Yeah.
my joints are kind of screwed up.
Mhm.
Not service connected according to the VA, but
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should explain to him you used to be 5'8".
I know. Well, I was almost 5'7", and now I'm not. But it's amazing how much those things help me out, man. And
Yeah, they're really good.
And I'll take
Yeah.
my wife will pack me ice packs
Yeah.
in my cooler, and I'll just throw an ice pack back there to keep the inflammation
Yeah,
down.
the gel. That's why immediately when he mentioned, I said, especially because when you're taking the long time for a show or sitting, something like the gel pads would be really, really good.
Amen to that. 100% concur.
Yes.
100% concur.
Yes. See, we have the same language. That's why we understand one another.
All right. DA, what's next, man?
Sorry, I was answering a question. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate.
That's okay.
Now, you mentioned that this could help with PTSD,
Yes.
with mental health issues,
Yes.
even with addiction. And I
Yes.
know that these are not just hot button topics, but a lot of people are dealing with
Yes.
different issues. Um, and I would very much like to not have to take all the pain meds that I take. Um, and I've fought my pain management doctor because they want to increase them, and I'm like, I don't want to go to levels where I'm a potato. I I like having some mental acuity. I'm a writer.
Of course.
I,
Of course.
I don't want them to medicate me to the point where I'm just sitting in a chair and drooling.
Yes. Yes. The when that was the first thing that I actually saw there when I was coming. So basically, there were many banners of a young gentleman and a woman and a man. Basically, would say healed from addiction, alcoholism. There was even saying cocaine, medication. So many of them came there searching for a cure, and some of them did find it. And they came to thank. Nobody knows how. Like I cannot tell you what's inside of the water, but there's many banners that were showing that people were healed from addiction, and and then it will say in a memory of this and this person, a memory of that and that person, and you go like, oh my God, if so many people will turn towards to this ancient healing, towards to this lake that has so many answers, maybe we would find something that it's less harmless, because addiction is a terrible thing. It doesn't matter what kind of, is it like forced one because we have to take it for basically controlling our pain? Is it because this is our escape from reality, or it just happened because we are in the wrong crowd? It doesn't matter. We are not here to judge, we are here to help. But this lake does help, and help many with those kind of issues. So I would advise it people to try it and take their own journey with it and see where it will take them, because there's no harm to it. You are not taking the Paxil, you're not taking Zoloft, you're not taking Ativan, you are not taking any Haldol or much more that I can go on. And sometimes people take Demerol, or what, it's the hydromorphine, what it's mixed of
Mhm.
the morphine in the water to make it kind of a little bit, we should say, light, but it's still the same thing. So, and more. But if we actually go more into that part of the healing, it's less harmless but more beneficial.
Um, now, again, you said that basically that you just go to the lake
Yes.
and pray. You don't have to necessarily drink it or anything like that.
No. I did, like I'm saying, I did a ritual because I did it because I contacted my Aboriginal friends to find more about the lake itself. But when you come to the lake, there's no, actually, lots of times they will tell you don't drink the water because the water has sometimes the algae. This is like a
Mhm.
regular lake, and sometimes the algae are there. So they'll say don't drink it. And
Take a
when
life straw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's enough to come in. You're gonna, and this is what many people do. When they come to the shore, you take your feet and you just stop it where it's like a little bit of the water touching. That's all what you need to do. And you don't need to go into the water, you don't need to go swimming, you don't need to drink it, but it's enough for you to touch it. And sometimes, when the algae are in, they'll say, algae are now growing, don't touch it. So because the toxins are there, people come and just touch it with their feet a little bit. You don't have to make your feet wet, just touch it a little bit there where the water is coming. So basically, people sometimes like to touch it with the hands. Sometimes people, what I like also to do is to write a message. As you write a message, you basically take a thread and roll it. This is now Aboriginal thing, and you toss it in a lake and you say, take my wish on, I'm asking for healing. And as the water is taking it, it's piece of you taking with it. So it's basically quite amazing, but it's your way you will pray, because Aboriginal people are different. They are not like us. For us, we judge, did you wear a regular hat, for example, to the church? Is your head covered? Is this one wearing a regular shorts? That's too short, this is too long. For them, you are there to pray. And
Right.
how you pray, it's your own choice. So it's your own connection with the lake. I saw people coming and just started crying. Well, they even didn't come to the lake yet. They were walking a couple of feet because maybe they felt that connection while they were
Mhm.
coming close to it. I saw people sitting there and just, relieving their energy. So it depends at that moment when you get that connection, what you would like to do, but it's up to you.
What about would you be allowed to take like a small vial of the water with you?
I'm 100% sure you are, because I'm gonna tell you honestly, I took the water and I bathed my mother in it. And that's actually also written in the book. What I did, I would take Pepsi and just
Mhm.
rinse it out and bring it. And while she would take a shower, I would take a cup and just pour it over her head and give it to her constantly. And of course, when the snow was coming, I was in tears. I'm like, how I'm gonna get the water? The lake is frozen. But of course, the power of the prayer was there, and the lake already knew about her. I didn't have to be there, and she got cured just before the lake got frozen. So that was another miracle, I think, because and then I went to the lake. This is another story that you guys will be shocked. That everything was frozen. Our cars are going like this. Anybody that been in Colorado or Michigan or whatever, we are very similar to it, even worse. I took my car and I drove it by myself, and it was a winter blizzard. I said, no, I'm going to go tomorrow and say thank you. And then I went to the lake was frozen, and I left my offering to say thank you. But I just wanted to know. So you don't, you can bathe in the water, you can take water, you can there's no actually saying you can't, because I did it and many people do it. It's very free. I should say we are very free. And even our tribe there that owns this land, they're really open to the people, because they know people are coming for the blessing and the healing. They are not coming there to destroy or hurt or damage anything.
Mhm. Well, I think that would be something I would probably do. I would like to bring a vial or a glass or a bottle of it home. I think that would be,
Of course.
once in a while, when you needed it. Um, I hate to cut you short, but we're coming up close to the top of the
Of
second hour
course.
anyway, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I need to go sit in my recliner on my
Of
heating
course.
pad for a
Of
little bit.
course.
I'm going to post the link to your book again in the chat. Everybody, this is the link to buy her book on Amazon, and you can also go directly to her website, and I will copy that again and post it in here as soon as that posts. And here is her website. Oh, I just posted the same thing again. Oops, way to go.
You are tired. You need a break.
And there's the link to her website where you can book Reiki healing, you can book readings and everything. But definitely reach out to her about getting a copy of that book, because I think it's
Thank you.
it's definitely worth having. And I'm going to get a hold of you off
Of
the air and get an
Of
autographed
course.
copy for myself.
Thank you very much. For both of you, it was
Yes.
my pleasure to be here. It was my pleasure actually to share about this book and about how much it means to me and how much it can help others. And thank you so much for having me. It
No
was wonderful
problem.
meeting you, Doc. And it's wonderful that we made this friendship. And this journey, I think, is just starting. It's going to make it
I
further.
agree. Well, good luck with the book sales. I hope the
Thank
book
you.
really sells well. I'm going to get a copy of it.
Thank
Like I said, and who knows? Maybe I can make the journey up there and
That
see
would
if
be
I can
wonderful. It will
find the
be my
magic for myself.
it will be my pleasure to, host you, and you can be my guest. Both of
That
you
would
guys.
be awesome. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. God bless you both. Bye.
You too,
You as
man.
well.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Remember,
Good night.
folks, stories are journeys that we take together, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking this journey with us. It's been a really fantastic show. Danielle is an awesome guest. Definitely check her book out. You can find it on those links there. And if you haven't had a chance to check out my new book, Apex Predator Dark Moon, is out now. It's doing well on Amazon, and I'm pretty happy about it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy that it's out. It's out in print, in Kindle, and in hardback editions. So
And it's
definitely be checking those
awesome.
out.
Y'all need to buy at least 2 or 3 copies for your friends. They make great Christmas presents, Hanukkah presents, bar mitzvah presents, whatever. Birthday presents, anniversary presents. They make just great gifts. Just to give somebody because you want to, because we're supporting wrong side. We're supporting a great dude over here. So
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man.
Hey, man, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome, brother. I'm glad I could jump in.
Me too. Folks, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys this Saturday. And you guys be safe. And just remember, the stories that we tell, the stories we hear on here, be they cryptid stories, be they stories like tonight about healing and magic in the world, the healing energies of the universe. Whatever the stories are about, these stories are journeys, and we do take these journeys together. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the journey with us. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys on Saturday. Good night, everybody.
Night, y'all.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.